Well, hello there, all you beautiful people, and welcome back to the Mosh Mob channel. If you're brand new to the page, I am your friendly neighborhood mosh pit. Today, I'm going to talk to you guys about the Exway Atlas Pro and all the things I've learned over the course of owning it for about a year now. So let's get right into it. So last November, I placed my order with Exway for the Atlas Pro 4-wheel drive because I wanted the option to be able to go from 2-wheel drive to 4-wheel drive. And you know what I've noticed? I haven't really found myself needing to go in 4-wheel drive that much, and I think that's a good thing. It just shows how powerful the back trucks are of the Exway Atlas Pro, that you don't need to go in 4-wheel drive to get over a lot of this stuff. Now, I've also ridden all types of terrain. I've ridden downtown Vegas. I ride this board every single day to and from work. I've ridden off-road in the desert. I go on plenty of trails. There's plenty of videos of me off on the trails. And again, I haven't found myself needing to go in 4-wheel drive that much, mainly just for show, or for power, or for speed if I really want to go fast. Another thing that surprised me is the fact that I haven't really had to change the tubes or the belts that often. They hold up pretty good. Now, I have stopped buying tubes from Exway because they were too expensive. Now I buy my tubes from mboards.com, which is a local shop. They get here pretty fast. It doesn't take as long to get all the accessories I need for the Exway Atlas Pro, so I don't really spend any money at Exway anymore. Plus, the major problems I've had with them in the past, I wouldn't ever buy another Exway product. I just cannot. Not based on the board itself. The board is amazing. It's the customer service and the company itself. I don't like their customer service, and maybe that's just a personal thing, but I've had plenty of issues with not the board itself, but the charger. I had them send me a 1,000-watt charger for the 4-wheel drive because you need a 1,000-watt charger, and this is a topic I've covered in this video, so I won't go too far into it. But since I posted that video about my issues, I've gotten so many emails, so many comments from other people who are facing the same issue. And I've emailed Exway personally to ask them what are they going to do about this issue. I don't get a response, and I feel like they're always on vacation. The company just doesn't take the customers seriously. And unfortunately, I don't feel like there's anything I can do to help you guys or tell the company to figure it out, because the GAN chargers do not work with the Exway Atlas Pro. They are prone to blowing up. Not literally in your house, but they're prone to just burning out. And so they keep sending the GAN chargers out, the GAN chargers out with the Exway Atlas 2-wheel drive and the 4-wheel drive, and it does not work with the Exway Atlas Pro. Well then, what they should be doing over at Exway is sending the 1,000-watt chargers out to everybody who buys an Exway Atlas and Exway Atlas Pro 2-wheel drive and 4-wheel drive, because that is the charger you need to charge such a powerful board, to charge such powerful batteries. That little small dinky GAN charger, no matter what they say about the new chip that they installed, is not enough to charge this board. It's really powerful. I've also had to replace the cord of the 1,000-watt charger twice now. The cord at the very end that connects into the board tends to fry itself out. It gets really hot and then it pulls itself out, and when you go to pull it out of the board, the wires come loose. I fixed one of them already, and I've had to reorder it twice. So I'm not very happy with Exway's customer service or their chargers. You should just be aware of that. It also took me a while, but I figured out how to run the app with the board. You have to download this Exway app. It's Xskate, E-X-S-K-A-T-E. It looks kind of like that. I'll put it up on the screen if you can't see it well there. But you go right into it. Before signing into the app, make sure that you have your board on, and your controller doesn't need to be on because my controller is off. But once you click on the app, it should show right up. I'm already signed in. If you're not signed in, or if you're not already a member, you should sign up and stuff, and you'll need your email and a password and all that stuff. But it shows you exactly how far you traveled. It shows you where you are. It shows you a map. It allows you to select the drivetrain configuration, the shift lock, the cruise control, free mode, standby duration, speed unit, whether it's kilometers or miles per hour. You're going to need this app. It was frustrating for the longest time. I couldn't figure out how to set my controller to miles per hour from kilometers per hour. I couldn't set it on the device itself, and I was getting annoyed because I'm American. I need to know miles per hour. But I had to sign into the app and set it through the app in order to change the controller to miles per hour or kilometers per hour. And you can do a lot more here in the app. It'll keep, like I said, it will keep track of how far you've gone with the app. Even if you're not using the app while skating, once you log in and you're logged in with your email and stuff, It keeps track of how far you've gone, and you keep that app open as you're driving to kind of see how fast you're going. Now, I've honestly had a great time with this board, and like I said, I've ridden it all over the place. Downtown Vegas, I've ridden it back and forth to work, I've ridden around the desert, I've ridden it all types of terrain, and I haven't had much trouble at all. I haven't really needed four-wheel drive. I've explained my issues with the company itself. The board itself is amazing. If you're thinking about buying it, it's a great board. It's just the company is not very good at what they do. In all honesty, if I could go back in time, I would have never chose this Exway board. I would have chosen probably the Backfire Hammer Sledge. Shorter range and less power on that thing, I've heard, but the company always responds to me and gets back to me. They have great customer service, and that's something that you have to base your purchase on. If you buy a board and it breaks or it comes broken and you can't get in touch with the company for months, which is the problem with Exway, with a lot of the people I've heard from, why buy the board? You're just sitting on it for months and months, and then you gotta find aftermarket parts for it, and it's really hard to find aftermarket parts. Oh, I did want to state that when you buy different tires for this board, certain tires work with certain gears and belts. So when I got the hydro wheels from Exway, I also had to go about buying the new gears and new belts and installing them all four wheels, because I ride four-wheel drive, so I needed it four-wheel drive hydro wheels. But when you switch back and forth between wheels, you also have to change the gears and the belts. Just so you guys know, every single time you want to change the tires. Now, I'm aware that on the Exway website, certain tires work with certain gears. I think these wheels, the wheels that come on the Exway Atlas Pro, those gears and belts also work for the Cloud Rover, the big thick donut ones for this. But if you want smaller wheels, you're going to have to buy the gears and the belts, and they sell them separately from the wheels. So just remember that if you buy the hydro wheels or the Cloud wheels, the small ones, you're going to have to buy the gears that go with them and the belts. They don't come with the wheels. I've also had to do very little maintenance on this thing. I check it every single day. I check all the bolts. There are a lot of screws and bolts that you got to cover, so make sure you're checking it every single day. Check your tires every single day. Check everything every single day. Check the plugs, make sure they're plugged in right. You'll know as you're riding it if you feel something weird. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out and comment or an email or something. I'll put my email down there somewhere, so in case you guys have a question. I love riding this thing. It's great. But as I said, if I can go back in time, I would have chose a different company. One thing that really sold me on this board was tank mode. And honestly, I haven't had to use tank mode either. I haven't really used tank mode at all. It's a show thing. So if that's the thing that's selling you on the board, it's really not that important. It's not really helpful. The board is heavy. So when you get stuck, it's not very agile. You know, it's a wide range turning, whether you have the trucks loose or not. It's wide range turning. It's a wide load type deal. So when you do have to turn the board, you have to have your board in four-wheel drive to run tank mode. If your board is in two-wheel drive, which my board is in mainly, then what's the point of having a tank mode if it doesn't get, you'd have to switch your board over to four-wheel drive. You see what I'm saying? If you're riding two-wheel drive, you're not able to use the tank mode. You have to switch it over to four-wheel drive to use tank mode. Four-wheel drive cuts the range in half. I think I've only gotten like 14 miles on four-wheel drive, something like that. Two-wheel drive, I haven't tested the range on. Okay, now one more thing I forgot to mention about tank mode is you have to double-click your controller, hit the button twice, and it'll bring it into tank mode. Now you have to be on four-wheel drive, like I said, and it'll put it into neutral steering. So, as you can see, it's in neutral steering now. I can't even really move the board. It's hard to push because it's in neutral steering, because all the wheels are going one way or another. And that's what tank mode is. It's literally just a show thing to show people that you can do it. Unfortunately, to get back into your controller, you have to shut off the controller and then turn it back on, because there's no way to escape the neutral steering mode. So you have to shut off your controller and turn it back on. But I'm sure you guys have had enough of me talking. I'm going to go ahead and hop on this board and ride it around. I'm going to put it on 4-wheel drive and maybe do a speed test to see exactly how fast I get it, so you guys can see proof here on screen how fast I actually get it. So without all the negativity aside, the great thing about this board is that it does exactly what I wanted it to do. The board is amazing. There's so many different settings on the controller itself. I got a helmet. You're going to need a helmet. I've fallen twice on this thing, and I don't fall. I've fallen twice, both by accident, but falling nonetheless. So be prepared when you're hopping on. If you're a beginner, make sure you lean forward on it. One major thing I've noticed about boards and scooters and bikes is that when you're on a board, you do not have handlebars. Scooters and bikes have handlebars. They give you the balance in the front so that when they go, you're holding on to those bars already. A skateboard and a longboard will not do that. So make sure you're leaning forward, because if you stand straight up and you don't have proper foot placement, you're going to go backwards. And I've seen it a bunch of times already, letting people try this board out. If you're going to have somebody try your board, make sure you explain to them exactly what to do. You want to explain to them that they want to stand forward, make sure that you're leaning forward, make sure you put the remote on first mode so that they don't take off in turbo mode and really mess themselves up. I almost had that happen. We haven't had that happen, luckily. If you're a beginner, start out in slow mode, the first mode, work your way up to mode 2, 3, and 4, because as I said, 4-wheel drive will go 42 miles an hour, 2-wheel drive will go 32, which is still enough to really hurt you, which is why nowadays I wear my helmet everywhere. Show you guys proof that I'm on 4-wheel drive. The back wheels are spinning, front wheels are spinning, as you can see. I'm gonna go up this road and see how fast I get. Hopefully you guys can see it on the controller. We're at miles per hour, so if you want it in kilometers per hour, I'll put it on the screen as well. How fast can I actually go going down the street? Wait for this car to pass. 4-wheel drive mode. Let's see how fast we can go. No pads or nothing. Terrified. Now that's honestly as fast as I feel comfortable with going on the street. I feel like if I go any faster, I'll get speed wobbles, but hopefully it came out clear exactly how fast I went. I'm not sure exactly how it showed up on the screen, so we'll go home and take a look. Yeah, I wouldn't push it much further than that. Even if I was off-roading with full pads and gear, I don't need to go that fast. I will say that when you're in 4-wheel drive, the controller feels a lot more jerky. Like, the takeoff wants to take you off right away. So when you're in 4-wheel drive mode, make sure that you're really leaning forward, because this board really wants to kick you off of it. I'd suggest staying in 2-wheel drive mode unless you're gonna do crazy stuff. If you are gonna stay in 2-wheel drive mode, remove your front belts. If you're only gonna be riding 2-wheel drive, remove your front belts, because it'll save you having to buy new belts and wearing those belts down. If you want the option of riding 2-wheel drive and 4-wheel drive, leave the belts on. I like having to be able to switch back and forth, even though I don't use 4-wheel drive that much. It is a lot more jerky, I will tell you, so make sure you pay attention if you're in 4-wheel drive mode. No matter how comfortable you are on a skateboard, it will kick your ass if you let it. So that's it for now, guys. I love you so very much. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the very next video. Peace and love. Whoa.